This is Governor Steve Beshear about Kentucky. Protecting Kentucky's families and key priorities during this period of financial crisis is vitally important. My proposed 2011-2012 budget takes a steady, responsible approach that not only addresses the short-term challenges we're facing, but also keeps an eye toward the future. My budget is responsibly balanced. Importantly, it avoids raising taxes on struggling Kentucky families and businesses, while both creating and retaining jobs. It guides state spending through the next 2 years, as required by law, while protecting core priorities like education, public safety, health care for the most vulnerable, and economic opportunity. It continues to reduce cost, requiring both additional cuts of many agencies while creating savings from our new innovative smart government initiative. And it contains a new source of reliable recurring revenue that would help break Kentucky's habit of using one-time money to fund recurring expenses. My budget helps to keep Kentucky on the right track toward future successes. We protect the education of our children and allocate $150 million for building and renovating our classrooms. In higher education, my budget buffers universities from most cuts while offering more financial aid and scholarships. In health care, my budget calls for smarter Medicaid spending and insurance help for our poorest families. In public safety, this budget allocates help for the state police, smarter spending on prisons, and funding for prosecutors and public advocates. While we're cutting, we can't cut our way to prosperity. More stimulus help may be possible, but it would be irresponsible to build these funds into the budget. We can't control or rely upon what happens in Washington. Limited expansion of gaming is the only practical option to begin funding long-term priorities with recurring revenue. Without new recurring revenue, new cuts to many agencies may not be 2%, but rather 34% in the second year of the biennium. My responsible plan is on the table. It's time for thoughtful and open discussion of our needs and strategies for moving forward. Over the last 2 years, I've collaborated with the legislature on previous shortfalls, reforming our public pension system, overhauling our economic incentives tools, moving forward on bridges, and improving our education system. It's time to set aside the rhetoric and do so again. We must have the courage and the commitment to protect our people and invest in this state's future. Putting off tough decisions or hoping for help from Washington that might never come is not a responsible answer. This is Governor Steve Beshear about Kentucky.